Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Paws on Netflix podcast.
Today we're covering the new Johnny Test series from Netflix.
Unfortunately, Netflix has revived the original Johnny Test series, and when we first heard it, my response was hooray!
Yeah.
For a long time, fans like ourselves, and Johnny is in more trouble than ever with 20 brand new episodes. The Test family and the viewers are in for chaos.
Sort of.
Or so we thought.
Right. Before we start with this, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification with updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Now, as we mentioned, we were really excited about this when we first heard it. Ecstatic. I own the first 5 seasons of Johnny Test, not season 6 because it was never put out. I absolutely think it was hilarious and brilliantly funny. So does Rascal. We know there's a lot of hate out there, but this show was absolute fun. It was meant to be pretty much just fun. Every now and then you have some lessons, some characters that were standout, voice actors that were hilarious and coming across as how the characters are meant to be. When it went off the air, when it didn't come back after season 6, we were not happy. So of course we were very happy hearing it's going to be a revival, because in my mind they were just going to pick up where they left off. But in Q Rascal, because she said
they're gonna change pretty much everything about Johnny Test.
And she was right, unfortunately.
Because this is just a habit with a lot of people now. Very rarely do people just stick to what was working. Now, from originally, when I looked up about what happened to Johnny Test, there was supposed to be, from James Arnold Taylor, there was supposed to be one more season and a TV movie to close it out, but it got canceled before it could do that. Now we were thinking, okay, so this series is going to finish it off and give the other season and then a movie.
And that's what they should have done.
Right, but no, they actually took some things that were like shorts and stuff from online and then kind of made new episodes and then put that on Netflix instead with a new sort of more smoothly animation style and majority of the voice cast coming back.
Well, first we'll tell you the good things about it, because unfortunately there's more negative than positive, which doesn't happen often with us, but in this case it is warranted. So the good things, the animation was good.
Yes.
As you said, it flowed, it was very colorful, very vibrant, which fits the show's image.
Right.
And they had a lot of the voice actors return. One of the sisters, the other one wasn't there. And of course, you had James Arnold Taylor back, you had Dookie's voice actor, you had Gil, who we weren't even sure was Gil because he didn't sound the same at all.
Right.
But we found out, yes, it's Gil. Bling Bling's voice actor, the mom and dad. So that we were really happy about, that they brought back everyone they could bring back.
Right.
And didn't do like they did with Psyche K and get a whole new cast.
Right.
So that was another thing that was really awesome about this reboot. All the voice actors we knew and loved got their original roles back, and that was great.
Right. Now, for here, like you said, there are 20 episodes, and which you got a lot of content. Now, they don't have the format anymore of having 2 segments, so they're shorter, but you still get at least one whole episode for each one you see.
Okay. Another thing that was really good is that how these characters looked, they kept.
Yes.
They didn't change them and update them, except
That's
for
true.
Johnny's hair. The little flame was not as bright.
Right.
But other than that, the characters looked like the characters. You weren't trying to figure out who was who. Bling Bling looked a little different in the face.
Yeah.
But other than that, everyone looked pretty much the same, and that was fantastic.
Yes.
Now, for the not so good. What in the heck did they do with the opening? One of the best things about this show were not only the original opening that got a copyright claim against them from Green Day, but also the one that replaced it.
Yes.
Both of them were fantastic openings, and
Yes.
they set you up and ready for fun, and no matter how many times I heard them, I just never got enough. Tired of hearing them.
Right. So in here, they go from a nearly 2-minute intro to a 10-second intro, which didn't make sense because it's not on TV. The only thing you got a sort of explanation for is that the guy who made the theme song and was doing the new one had passed before the show came out. So they dedicated a few episodes to him and then had Guy Moon take over. So on one hand, they probably just didn't want to take away one of his last songs, so they left it intact in honor of him.
Well, I think they could have done is maybe use that as the outro.
Yeah.
Like created an outro especially for him, had an awesome intro, and then for the ending, played his. And he would have been still paid tribute every episode, and then a 10-second ending would have been fitting.
Right.
That's what I would recommend. However, that's not what they did. And another thing about the intro is that they cue you that we're gonna see Johnny X and all these other characters, and none of the stuff happens that's in the intro.
Right. It's so fast. It's so fast you can barely just figure out what's going on. They tell you, oh, Johnny X, T-Rex, triple clones, jetpacks, and then none of this ever shows up in this series.
Absolutely none of it. And we know from what it shows, it says one season, which means for Netflix this is it. So it doesn't say season 1 as if, well, season 2 will take care of it. No, what you get here is it. So the entire intro is a lie.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Then in here, we were so used to Mary and Susan and their Gil, which is one of the funniest parts of the series. Well, guys, they never do it here. They not one time say it. Gil hardly appears in here, and now he's a total complete idiot. Before he was just an airhead. He was kind of like a hippie
kid.
Right.
Yeah.
But in here, now he's an idiot, and he makes no sense, and they don't fawn over him, which is like, who are these girls? This is Mary and Susan.
Right. And when you saw him, look, that was the funny part. He got on way more with Johnny because he was a dude, and that was it. Here, it's just like, and there were like be long bouts of silence when he would come on screen and he would say some things that didn't make sense, and I think they were holding for laughter, like, you're gonna be laughing so hard about this, but every time he would say something really stupid, and they literally stopped the episode so you can laugh, and we were just sitting there in silence like, wait, that was the joke.
Right, and it's like, just totally lost.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that was the joke right there, like, I didn't get it.
Right.
Plus, they took out a lot of the music in here, too. It's pretty quiet.
Yes, and that was also another one part, because you knew the music was exactly the same every episode. But just like shows like Bleach and other shows we've watched that cue up what's going to happen, and GarageBand, you knew by where the music, what music came in, what was going to happen in terms of it's going to be the funny part, it's going to be action, it's going to be the wrap up, it's going to be the climax. You knew.
Right.
And the cues were perfect. Well, as Rascal said, the majority of the episodes are complete and utter silence. There's no music whatsoever, and it's just like you're hearing crickets.
Right. There's even one episode where it was done almost entirely silently, when there was a librarian that wanted to make everything sound because she was tired of noise, and they took away Johnny's voice, they took away the music, even the sound effects, that there was sort of like a callback to people hating the whip sound effects the arms would have, so she took that away too. So half the episode was done in complete silence.
And ironically, that was one of the better episodes. The entire episode should have been done that way. It was like, this is a good idea. This worked. And unfortunately, they did not go all the way with it as they should have, but it truly was one of the better episodes. It was actually funny.
Right. Then another thing they did is that it looks like it suffered a little bit like with Animaniacs. It didn't come out when it was supposed to. So unfortunately, a lot of the things they were making fun of were no longer relevant.
So outdated, so lost, so like this doesn't belong.
Like they had one that was, they weren't on a game show, but they did a parody of Naked and Afraid, which doesn't even come on anymore. They did parodies of Fast and Furious, which is still Pokemon Go. Yes, then tried to have some sort of fake controversy that, hey, wait a minute, the Pokemon does all the work and gets hurt, but the train gets all the credit and does nothing. Like they were trying to make some sort of backwards commentary on it that didn't make any sense.
And they even thought that by making their little commentary on Amazon, which I know a lot of people do, but because of the way it was done, it was outdated, it no longer fit.
Right. And then they actually had one that was supposed to be a parody of 90210, but then they dropped the parody after 4 minutes.
It was like, why? All I could think was, why would you do this?
And Grumpy Cat, and who's
passed away. Right?
Yeah, so it was like, and the one thing they really absolutely missed the ball on, if I have to interject with this, is that you saw a lot of Johnny X and the super toys.
Right.
But if this was written at the time before 2021, then they'd known about Marvel and the MCU and DC and My Hero Academia. But then they advertised Johnny X, and then not one episode did they have a Johnny X episode or the League of Super Toys in here. They had all these people that acted like super villains in here. They had to stop. But not one time did they have Johnny X and Super Dookie or the League of Super Toys in there to capitalize off the popularity of superheroes.
Definitely.
They just skipped it all together.
Another few quick things, unfortunately. No Dad's Meatloaf. Too much Mary and Susan. Not enough Mr. Black and White. Not enough Gil. and Bling Bling was relegated to just a few episodes. And again, that dynamic between he and Bling Bling was missing. Another good episode they had was where Bling Bling, something happened to Johnny, and he thought that he was Bling Bling's best friend. And that was actually one of the good episodes because it really reminded you of the original series.
Right.
But Bling Bling, there wasn't enough of him. And we didn't understand why Mary and Susan had to be in absolutely every episode. It was too much of them. You love their characters, but it was too much of them.
Right.
And the mom and the dad, they were in there not much more than Bling Bling.
Yeah.
Not much more.
Yeah. And speaking of that, 2 more episodes that both felt like they could have been something, and they also made jokes too late. One episode in the beginning, they had built a baby brother with a highly advanced AI. But when you heard him talk, he was committing crimes. He was like the boss baby. He was a shout out to the boss baby, which the movie has a sequel now. And then a second one is towards the end. The final episode of the season has a Christmas episode which is making fun of Holiday Light Fight, which you know is those competitions on ABC every Christmas, which were weird things to parody because, I mean, yeah, you like the Holiday Light Fight, but the episode didn't have that Christmas charm like the first one. They're trying to get Johnny a present.
That's what I was going to say. The first one that they did for the original series it's a perfect holiday movie. We watch it every holiday season because not only was it full of chaos and hilarity and fun, but there was a message that got across, and Johnny actually learned the lesson, which made it fantastic. And then the one with the boss baby, as you said, that could have worked because we love the movie.
Right.
You know, from what we hear online, we thought the boss baby was excellent. It had the wholesomeness and the fun and the family and the hilarity. And Alec Baldwin as a baby was just pure genius.
Right. They even got someone that sounded like Alec Baldwin.
Yes. But they didn't, as you mentioned, get fully committed to making this episode being fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And only because of that, it didn't fully deliver.
Right.
So are we happy that it got a reboot? Yes, it deserved one. Are we happy with what we got? Unfortunately, no. Again, we're just grateful the voice actors got to work again. The animators and all the people got to come back for one last hurrah and be paid for doing what they love to do. That was fantastic. But as far as delivery, if we had to grade this, and as much as it pains me to say this, I would give this reboot a D. And I would recommend personally that you don't even invest your time watching this. You watch the original series.
Right, which is still on Netflix. And heck, even when we were finishing up the Netflix one, we saw that Johnny Test was actually ended up trending after a few days with Hunter x Hunter.
Probably because they felt like we did. This is what we were looking for. So, watch the original series, give it some more push, and support the voice actors in the other work they do. Because they're fantastic and they're fabulous. And they can't be blamed. None of the people that worked on this show, the animators, the voice actors and so forth, can be at fault for this. It's the writers and the people who made the decisions to decide that these were the episodes that should be aired, and also not having an intro. Those are the people that are responsible for this. You got a chance to come back and finish this show and do a movie. And what you should have done, you didn't do. What you promised, you didn't do. And because you didn't deliver on what you promised, it's a failure. Mm-hmm. And it disappoints us, and it makes us sad to say that we could have passed on this reboot.
Yeah. And last thing I want to bring up is we mentioned with the episodes and the comedy is that, starting with Gil on how they treated most of his jokes were supposed to be jokes. So much of the show is thinking just anything they do is going to be funny. But the thing was, the original Johnny Test was clever. It was like watching a modern day Looney Tunes callback. Well, actually, it was both a callback and a modernization of it without Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. But for here, it's like they toned down it way too much. They took away the music, the zaniest, the outrageousness. They started just doing random things and thinking, this is funny and you should be laughing. And they stay silent for so long, like they're waiting for you to stop laughing, but you're just kind of sitting there like, what was that?
Funny?
Yeah, that was the funny part? It was just, it's unfortunately very awkward for them because instead of laughing your head off like you would be in the original, you're just kind of sitting there like, wait a minute, that was the joke. You get it like 5 minutes later.
Right. Now, if you've seen Johnny Test 2021, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you think we're we're off. Tell us what you truly think, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And if you've seen the original series, let us know what you think in the comments below as well. And be sure to check out our podcast where we talked about international cartoons, which featured Johnny Test.
Right.
And lastly, speaking of reboots, we will be doing a podcast on Reboot Madness because there seems to be a lot of it, and we just want to talk about it on our World of Paws podcast about how it seems like it's not turning out to be such a good thing as in Johnny Test.
Right. So be sure to like, subscribe, and click occasional updates and future podcasts and Little Paws videos for our possum family.
Absolutely. Thank you. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.